Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out with Linus Udofia. I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, very well.
Unbeaten middleweight, of course. We're here at the box set launch event for the film festival. It takes place in November. Before we get on to more boxing related questions, what's your favourite boxing film?
That's a hard one, to be fair. I reckon Creed 2. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a bit more modern. It's a bit more. The old school ones are good, but I don't know. It's a bit more modern. It's a bit more right now.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
That's where I'm gonna go.
Get into boxing, as we said, undefeated middleweight. You've got to be looking at kind of major domestic titles around this point. What's the plans going forward?
At this point I was meant to have a southern area already, but that fell through. So I'm now mandated for the English after winning in March, an eliminator in March. So now I'm just mandated for the English, and I'm just waiting to see how the actual challenger is going to play out in August, at the start of August, and then we'll start pushing the button from there.
And that's Jack Cullen defending against John Harding Jr., right? What do you make of that fight? Who do you fancy?
The champion, I think Cullen's a good operator, good tall, rangy middleweight. I think he holds a lot of power as well. I think Junior's going to give a really good account of himself, but I don't think he's experienced enough at that level to disrupt the champion. So, so after that we're going to see if we can get something going in November on TV.
A British champion, of course, at the moment is Liam Williams, who could still make super welterweight and has recently won a kind of fringe world level fight at middleweight. Do you expect him to move on soon, leave those belts vacant for the likes of yourself and some of the other rising contenders?
It's all timing, so I'm not really sure. If something happens in the next 6 months where I become English champion, and then someone something could happen. They could turn around and go, oh, do you want the British for this on this? So you never know. But if he does, he does. If he doesn't, I'm not really too fussed. I don't follow the fighters. I follow the titles. So don't really matter.
And are you still involved with David Hay? Is he still playing a part in your career?
Yeah, he's still my promoter. I still got a promotional deal with him, and when he can, when the opportunity is there, I'll be on the big shows. When we're ready and things like that. Really, he still plays a massive part in my career.
How does that work in terms of the big shows? Is it because he's now working with Chisora? Is there a route in via Matchroom? Is that the sort of thing how it works now? Because he hasn't got his own show so often.
It's spot on. That's exactly how it works. When Chisora's fighting and it makes sense to fight at that time against that person and things like that. That's normally the route I get in.
And do you crave those big shows, those big nights under the lights, or are you happy kind of plying your trade in the smaller halls, building up under the radar? So people can be less critical, I suppose, and obviously there's less out there on you as well for future opponents to look at.
I get that. I'm not really the opponents thing. It's people are gonna. It don't really matter, with people watching you, because you're gonna be different whenever you get in the ring anyway. But the big nights are good. I've been privileged to get in and actually be on the big shows, big world title undercards and things like that. I've been really privileged, and the big nights are really good. But I'm very happy at keeping it low, keeping it simple. I'm happy either way, as long as I'm fighting for myself, my team, and all the right things, and actually fighting for certain titles. And I'm happy wherever it is. I'll fight in the backyard for a title, I don't mind.
We'll see if we can put that on, but for now, we'll stick to the bigger shows. But you seem very patient. Is that a fair assessment? You're not in any rush to get to where you want to be?
There's no need to rush. We've got a short career, yes, but there's no need to rush and try and jump on something you're not necessarily ready for. And when you do get to a certain point and you're on a pedestal, you are the target for everyone else. If you get there prematurely, you won't be on there for long. So this game's all about timing. So we just take our time. I listen to my coach, I listen to my management, and I just do everything they say, because at the end they know more than me about how a career should be run.
And you mentioned your coach. Just tell us a bit about who your trainer is and whereabouts you train and that training setup.
My trainer is Terry Stewart. And he used to train James DeGale. He trains Jake Ball now. He trained Alex Arthur, people like that. And, I train in Buckers Hill Club KO in Essex, and that whole setup. I've been there since 2015, and I went down there in the amateurs just to get ready for tournaments in the amateurs and things like that. And he really looked at me and he said, you look really good. Whenever you want to turn professional, I'll take you on. And it was something I never really thought. Funny to say, I never really thought about turning professional when I was an amateur. Never thought about it. And then as soon as he said it to me, I thought about it and just thought it's something that I actually do want to do. And after my amateur career was over, it was a no-brainer to go and stay with him because he knew me inside out and he brought out the best things out of me, as a person and as a boxer as well.
Terry has a wealth of experience, obviously formerly with Jim McDonnell, now branching out on his own, which is great to see. How old were you when you first got into boxing on the amateur level, first of all?
17, funny enough. I was 17 years old when I first ever put on gloves to do anything, to fight or anything like that. And I started fighting. My first fight was 3 months into actually training at Hockrell Ring ABC in Luton. And after that, it was history from there. It was literally fighting every weekend for the next 3 or 4 years. And
what got you into the sport at such a relatively late age?
I don't know. Nothing directly got me into it. I used to play football, and I used to play with my friend Grant, and Grant Walpole, and he just said to me, I'm starting this boxing youth thing. Would you like to try it out? Maybe help me out with it? And I'm like, yeah, that's cool with me. That sounds good. So I thought, yeah, let me try it out. Let me see what it's like. And then he goes, you seem to take quite naturally up to it. So if you actually did want to learn boxing properly, go down to Hockrell Ring. And I went down, and 3 months later I was having a fight, and it was just like, what's going on? So quick, everything's just happening so quick, and it was really good. And I never really looked back from there. It's never something I really wanted to do, but when I did it, I knew it was what I always wanted to do. That makes sense.
And early in your career, did you work alongside doing the boxing, or have you always been a full-time pro?
No, I've worked. I've only this year is the year I've taken steps on my own accord, in a sense of stop working and maybe start doing things I enjoyed more, like PTing and training other people and things like that. Only this year, in 4 years as a pro, it's the time I've actually ever stopped working. I was literally an electrician all my life, and it's very difficult. We're talking getting up at stupid o'clock in the morning to do some training, get to work, get back in late, train, and basically you're out of your house from 5 or 4 in the morning till 10 at night, and that was it for 3 years. And I always got told you don't count the cost. When you really want something, you don't count the cost. So I didn't look at the times I was out of the house. I didn't look at relationships that were ruined. I didn't look at money expenses. I didn't look at petrol. I didn't look at so many things because I just wanted this. Do you know what I mean? And it pays off.
Who told you that saying that you just told us? Who was it that told you that?
Les Brown. He's an American motivator, an author. And I used to listen to a lot of his. Look at them two shadowboxing over there.
Someone's gonna get hurt.
Yeah, someone's gonna have
be tears before bedtime.
Woo! I used to listen to a lot of his motivational speeches, because he came from nothing, and he used to say a lot of things that were just, if you looked at something a different way, you could change your whole perception on how a situation is. Like a rainy morning could be looked at so differently, and he got me thinking like that. And I always listened to that, and I always took a lot of things he said on board, and it just kind of pushed me through a lot of barriers I encountered. You know what I mean? A lot of times where you're feeling like, why am I actually doing this? Like, this is so hard. I can't manage it all. I can just work. I don't need to do this. I can do something else. And then you keep on it. You know what I mean? And a lot of those speeches, I don't know him, but a lot of those speeches pushed me through a lot of things.
And just before we let you go, for people out there that aren't aware of you or want to engage with you on a deeper level, how can they follow you on social media? What are your main channels?
Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Linus_Udofia.
Brilliant. Well, we look forward to following the journey too, and best of luck, whatever happens with your two next challenges.
Thank you.